Now, if you look at Azure, to fully migrate an Azure tenant from either an original contract to a new destination contract, all you need is to have Azure set up in both contracts. So you will need to have purchased the $0 Azure SKU, for instance, to be able to initiate an Azure environment. Then, in order to move the Azure tenant from one enrollment to another, you need to log a ticket with the Azure Enterprise Support team, give them the old enrollment number, new enrollment number, and the start date of the transfer, and give them approval from EA administrators for both environments. After that, they can do the transfer for you. And what will happen is the Azure environment is moved from the one enrollment to the next. So your link in your Azure portal to the correct enterprise enrollment will change from the original to the destination contract. Now, please note that there's no downtime here. So if the cloud instance is different, so Azure in CSP and EA have a different architecture, this is not possible and the transfer will fail. The source enrollment, so the original enrollment that you transferred from, is set to transferred, so you can no longer use the Azure tenant under that enrollment anymore. It may take up to 48 hours, but again, it will have no downtime. And things like cost view settings for department administrators and account owners is not carried over. Also, very important, Azure prepayment. So if you have bought a lot of Azure upfront, for instance, you have bought a bucket of $100,000 and you only consumed 50,000 of it, that $50,000 is not transferable with the enrollment transfer. There's no option to do this. You won't get any credit. That value is usually just forfeited. So again, that's why always be very careful when you work with Azure prepayments. Partially, this is working quite similarly, but it doesn't require you to log a ticket with the Azure Enterprise team, but you can do this if you have set up your environment correctly. You can move all the subscriptions that you want to move out of your Azure environment to an account within the Azure portal, and you can transfer that entire account to another enrollment. All you need here is the number of the target enrollment, account name, and the account owner email of the account that you want to transfer. You need the source enrollment number and the account to transfer. And you need approval from the EA administrator from the target and the source tenants. So quite similar, but what you do here is you take a subset of the subscriptions, you place them under an account in your Azure portal, or if you have already done it by setting up your default Azure infrastructure, that is even better. Then you take that account, you pick it up, and you place it under a different enrollment, and it will fall under that new enrollment. Now, please note that the account transfers all services and subscriptions related to specific accounts. Any usage before the transfer data remains under the source enrollment that should be paid for by the source enrollment. And the account shows the end date corresponding to the effective transfer date of the source enrollment and as a start date on the target enrollment. So it might show different start dates as of that date. So it might not be that when you transfer it, the start date aligns to the start date of your actual Azure account, but it will have the date of the transfer.